Everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Shauna Tucker, and I am content strategist for DoveRunner for content security. Today, we're joined by Harish Bhat, product manager at DoveRunner, and we'll be discussing defending your digital assets, a comprehensive anti-piracy strategy. Now, before Harish shares his expertise with all of you, let me walk you through what we'll cover today. We'll start by framing today's content security landscape, which is changing faster than most organizations are ready for. Then we'll break down where piracy originates today, how it spreads, and why traditional security assumptions no longer hold true. Tools like DRM, manual monitoring, spreadsheets of pirated URLs, and isolated takedown vendors create more gaps than they solve. So we'll explain the weaknesses that exist at both a technical and an operational level. Then we'll transition into solutions. While we will be covering DoveRunner's end-to-end anti-piracy stack, it won't be a product tour, I promise. This is a blueprint of how modern content defense should work, from monitoring to measurement. We've worked with quite a few different types of customers, so we'll next walk through some actual customer scenarios within OTT, sports, and EdTech. These are situations that many of you will instantly recognize from real world challenges. And with these examples, we've learned a lot about the ROI organizations see with anti piracy. It's no longer a cost center, but a measurable revenue recovery engine. We'll show you the numbers we consistently see with our deployments. By the end of this webinar, you'll have a complete understanding of what effective anti-piracy protection looks like in 2025 and 2026. So I'll kick us off with the impact of digital piracy. There were over 200 billion visits to piracy sites in 2024 alone, and about 1 in 4 consumers are watching pirated content. All of that adds up to a $77 billion annual drain on the US economy. And I don't have this stat up there, but other countries are no better off. So, for example, piracy costs the Indian entertainment industry, which includes Bollywood, 2.7 billion with a B a year. So, with all of that in mind, what are some of the challenges that piracy presents, Harish?
Yeah, thanks, Shona, for giving a quick introduction and an overview how the piracy is consumed and how is it's affecting. So let's start with the challenge itself. When we talk about piracy, so the basic thing is like any copyrighted content when it gets illegally restreamed, distributed without any authorization, it's the piracy thing. Now, when it comes to the piracy challenge, if you ask me a couple of, let's say, a decade year ago, it was just the torrents. Only the P2P sharing would be there, and the piracy was limited. But in today's world, the landscape is enormous. It's like I would say like at least 20 to 30 different platforms are available where the contents are being pirated, and the challenge and how it affects. So most of them quickly say that okay, piracy leads to the revenue drain. I would say revenue drain is the major factor, but along with it there are few other things like the brand erosion is the very important factor as well. So when we say the revenue drain is you will lose your customers, when the content is available for free, nobody would try to buy a subscription. They would say okay, hey, it's illegally or it's freely available at a particular site, then why should I pay for it? So they would go with the other channel and they would lose the subscription rate and the lifetime and the customer trust. And it does a snowballing that not just the customer gets moved out from the platform, but then even the sponsors or the copyright holders, they hesitate to give the content. So that's the brand erosion, that when your platform is not secure enough to protect their content, then they would not trust to give the new content for your platform. So that's a very important thing, like the piracy does, the brand erosion thing. And when we talk about the rapid evolution, so earlier when the piracy was just a sort of a hobby thing, now it's like a more of a parallel world business, which it's very huge, it's like $1 million business, I would say, very roughly. But then because of the AI, the high speed internet, all those things, the pirates are becoming much more sophisticated. The moment the content get released, they have the copy with them, they put it on their platforms and start sharing it. So the piracy ecosystem, I would say, is not limited to few things. It's like lot of apps, I would say modded applications are coming up, IPTVs are coming up, the messaging apps where the entire movies or the web series are being shared. So it has become like a difficult or a much more challenging, I would say, where any anti-piracy company would have to take care of all the platforms, make sure and copyrighted contents are secured. Yeah, I would say that it's a not a casual threat now. It's becoming a very complex thing day by day with new platforms being launched.
Wow. Yeah. With all of that complication, can you talk a little bit about why you feel like traditional defenses are falling short?
Yeah, this is a very important thing why most organizations should be aware of. And they say that okay, we have put the de facto DRM, everything is should be secure, but that's not the case of late, because we have seen there are some sort of breaches, some sort of security holes being exploited. So the pirates are tech savvy where they exploit those things and make sure they are getting a copy of it or bypassing the security measures, access and all. And along with that, the customers, when they come up with like fragmented solution, maybe not all vendors have all security products with them. The company, what they do is they go and pick different customers for, oh, sorry, different vendors for each of the security solution, one for let's say DRM, one for watermarking, one for anti-piracy and all. Now these fragments create some sort of hole, so there is no sort of a handshake like a 360-degree where you can monitor and take it down. So these fragmentation creates additional holes as well, which might prevent the piracy, but not that effective, I would say. So it should be like a 360-degree approach that the DoveRunner does, where the entire ecosystem and all the different security products work hand in hand to secure the content. Yeah, and when we say about the last point about the limited visibility, so most of the things like that, the contents are available on few websites. Let's do a web crawling, take them down and all. But as I was mentioning that there are different platforms that are coming up, and it's challenging that you find contents in each of the platform. Few of them don't even allow web crawlers. They block the bots, and few of them have put sort of a captchas and few other things where it is not very easy even for the human to, like, you go search all these 30 40 apps instantaneously, find the links and remove them. So we have seen on our with our anti-piracy journey that the new platforms that get launched, the pirates make use of the security measures in that to exploit it and share it across. So the traditional ways, the normal monitoring is no more a thing that can be used. It has to be cloud with different aspects of it. So that's how we'll have to look at from the visibility point of view.
Not to be the lead in, but where can people find this a better solution?
When the thing is like when we talk about piracy, we need to first do an assessment. We need to check on which all platforms the contents are available. So we take a different approach where we do a sort of accessibility. It's like think as if like you are going to a, you have a problem, you visit a doctor will not directly give you a medicine. He would say do a perform set of test, and then we would come up like which medicine works. So Devrana takes a sort of same approach that we do a sort of global monitoring on all the platforms 24 bar 7, find wherever your contents are available, sort of automated AI based tools, lot of video matching, fingerprinting, all those things we do it. We give a complete report where the contents are available. And along with that, we showcase like how fast within minutes the contents can be removed. For example, for the live events, it could be a pay per view event as well, where it could be the every second, I would say, the means are expensive, or they have to be monitored quickly and taken down. So we have done a few of the events, and we have successfully demonstrated how the rapid takedown helps to gain the subscriptions and even the visits to their site. And along with that, the forensic watermark. This is very an important aspect, I would say. When we say forensic watermark, traditionally they think it's a complex and all. So at DoveRunner, we are trying to make it much simpler, make it much easier to integrate. We have seen within days, weeks that things get integrated. And the best part is if any of these pirated things come up, you can identify the source of it. And with CDN getting advanced with blocking or revoking in real time, it becomes much easier that you cut the streams for the pirated, so that even though they are trying to come up again and again, you are preventing them, which disrupts in a huge manner. So this is very I would say very important aspect of it. So instead of looking that it's complex, expensive and all, if they try, they would get definitely an importance about it. And the last one is about the actionable analytics. This is very interesting part, Shona. So when we say actionable analytics, not just we show how where the contents were available, how were taken down, how it prevented, but more insights. Let's say if your content is being you viewed in a some different part of the world where it's much popular, it becomes easier for you to tie up with the OTT agencies over there, or share your copyrighted contents and make it monetizing. So that is also another aspect of it. It's not just takedown and prevention, but growth as well. The business growth is also an aspect which could be helpful from the analytics that we provide. So these are the main aspects like DevRunner work from end-to-end anti-piracy stack.
Great. It really sounds like the end-to-end anti-piracy stack that you're describing is really focused on making sure that it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. So with that, I think that's the perfect segue to kind of talk about some of those real-world use cases that we've worked on. If you can do that.
Yes, Shona. This is very interesting when the things get. So the anti-piracy, it's not, as you said, it's not a silver bullet anybody has found in the world that works across for all the platform. So each of the use cases have their own challenges. Uh, Particular, I would say, each platforms where the contents get pirated. So when we talk about live, the live, when you think about it, it's like within minutes the contents are aired from a broadcaster or from the streaming sites. The pirates restream it on their own platforms within minutes. We have seen that, and if they are not taken down, then it's causing a loss of the revenue for the sports industry. And within that spot a short span of time, let's say 90 minutes or 2 hours, the entire match, the efficiency should be so high that you find everywhere or the most of the places where contents are being viewed illegally and remove them, disrupt it. So that's a great challenge. And sometimes when it happens for the event, we have seen like it needs a lot of human resource where they need to manually verify few things. Though there are automated tools and all those things, it becomes most of the challenging time where the captchas, as I was saying, the pirates are also using some sort of authentication mechanism which take consumes the time. So it becomes such very challenge and all those things. So live sports is one of a use case where the efficiency, quickly take down and identifying the source becomes much more important. So during the event, you identify, block the most of the pirates out of your from the free streaming or the free illegal ways, the more the revenue increase. That's the thing I would say. And next is when it comes to the OTT platform, it's slightly different. It may not be that time constraint one, wherein let's say a new movie or a web series get released on a Friday night. Within an hour, the high quality content starts appearing on the pirated platforms. So now the challenge is like you predetermine from your previous history and the using the AI where all the content would appear beforehand, and the moment it starts appearing, remove them effectively, and make sure that whichever wherever the DNS IPs they are using, you have a sort of relation with them, and make sure that the copyrighted contents are being prevented from re-uploading. So that is a different, slightly different use case when I say, and the platforms would be totally different, or say few of them overlap, maybe like 40%, I would say 40 to 50% might overlap, but there are a few other aspects to it. For example, the file sharing mechanism, it could be where the posts are being shared, the M3 U8 links. So these are the different things where the OTT platform piracy happens. And when we go to the last part of it, like the edutech, so this is a thing where it gets interesting post COVID, I say. Most of the edutech came up with high content quality work, the edutech courses, which are very unique in the way. And when the pricings are high, it's a tendency that it gets pirated and shared. And the piracy of this is not similar to the OTT or the live. They don't appear onto the streaming websites or live streaming platforms and all. They go into like most of the like file sharing mechanism, I would say, where the files are stored and they provide some link to be taken down or onto like Telegram or other platforms where the messaging and other ways they do it. So in all the three use cases, the platforms are different, and
Mm.
the actions and the way it has to be dealt is also different. So we need to have the anti-piracy company should have a relationship with all these different platforms, and have a agreement set saying that, hey, my copyrighted content of my client, if it appears, we should be working together to remove it. So that's how the ecosystem should be built with all this thing and handle all these real world use cases. So yeah, the challenges are there with these different platforms, but if it has been handled properly, it becomes much more easier. So we could say that it's easy to the visibility, the traceability, and enforcement should work hand in hand.
I think that's a really good point that even though all of these different types of organizations have major differences, they still need that same level of protection. Can you talk a little bit about what they can expect to see after using an anti-piracy stack like DoveRunner?
So yeah, once they start to use anti-piracy stack, of, let's say of DoveRunner, on an average, the study shows that the piracy happens anything between like 15 to 30 or even 40% of the contents get pirated, which affects the revenue directly. So when the revenue drain is happening and you start putting all these preventive measures in your stack, then we have seen like the at least 20% of the revenue is recovered. The moment you don't make people easily find their contents freely on the net, it gets delisted immediately. They are not able to find, they eventually come to your site and start subscribing it, because they know they are not able to find anywhere that easily. And when you say about 20% revenue, let's say very simple maths, if a company is making, let's say, $10 million a year profit, okay, and with anti-piracy stack working effectively, let's say 20% revenue, it's like a $2 million increase. So it's much more, I would say. And the cost to any of this anti-piracy product, it could be anti-piracy service or the forensic or the DRM, all those things, it's combinedly it's very few $1,000s, whereas the return is very huge. I would say 300 to 400% it would jump, and that's how the returns would be there. And when the takedowns are 90% effective, continuously you're monitoring, identifying the loopholes wherein your system can be improved, that's where it becomes much effective, that your system is strong enough, prevents from the pirate's life easy to steal the content from your CDN or from your devices or from your apps and all. So that's how I would say that it's a huge revenue. It's more than 400 500% revenue, I would say, would be recovered because of the anti-piracy.
Wow. Well, let's talk through what this could look like in action.
Yeah. So Shana, the in action there would be like when a customer approaches us for us to, let's say, where are the contents being identified, we do a sort of analysis. As it landscaping, we showcase where the contents are available for freely, what is the sort of revenue drain they are having, and we help with the VAPT DRM analysis of their system, current system, and what are the loopholes, how easily the pirates could bypass and use the system to get hold of the high level content. And then once this analysis is done, so we do the analysis, identify, then the enforcement comes. Like, let's plug in all these holes, make sure that the system is robust, secured enough to make the life miserable of the pirates. And then once all this thing is done, then keep a track, is there still any other thing lookage is happening, because there is no system in the world, I would say, like 100% secure, because most of things we secured, there are some external devices, let's say with handicam or something else, they are trying to capture and restream or take it outside. Then we would, with the, as I said, with watermark and anti-piracy, we identify the exact pirates, pin them down and block them out. So that's how it would be an effective service rather than like uh, the reactive service. It will be preventive service, I would say. You make sure your systems are robust enough, and then keep a track even if there is some sort of minor leakages happening.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, to wrap up, thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm going to do a quick wrap up. Just piracy is no longer an occasional nuisance. It's persistent, global, technologically sophisticated operation. But with the right tools and strategy, it's absolutely possible to contain and significantly reduce its impact on your content. To help you experience this firsthand, we're offering a free trial of DoveRunner's anti-piracy platform. During your trial, you'll be able to monitor piracy across over 20 services in near real time, automatically detect illegal links, streams, and redistribution activity, view impact analytics to quantify exposure and value at risk, access takedown workflows and enforcement activity or enforcement tools, and test forensic watermarking capabilities to support traceability and deterrence. Within days, you'll gain a clear data backed baseline of what's happening with your content and what actions can deliver the fastest, most meaningful reduction in losses. If you'd like to see how Dove Runner performs with your content in the wild, you can start the trial at no cost and no commitment and evaluate the results for yourself. Use the QR code on the screen to contact us for more information. Thank you again for joining us today and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Shana. Thank you, everyone.